Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new video. In this video I've obviously had the winter off, the Christmas and New Year period, and I'm going to be discussing the F1 2019 awards. Now this is what I have given drivers and a few little awards, and I've found a few answers and hopefully you agree with them. If not, please let me know what you would have put in terms of when I'm going through these awards. There's only a couple, so we're only going to go through a few of them, but I just felt like this is a great video to get back started for the new year and for the new season coming up for 2020. So yeah, this is the 2019 season F1 awards by the Pole Position podcast. So let's see what I have put down. Obviously going to start with driver of the year. Now, there's been quite a few drivers that have impressed me this season. I think Charles Leclerc in his first season at Ferrari has been really good. Max Verstappen once again at Red Bull, sort of carrying the team a little bit, with obviously Pierre Gasly swapping over and Alexander Albon coming in halfway through the season. To have such a good driver in Verstappen sort of pulling the team along in that sort of strange transition period in terms of swapping the second driver. So he's had a good year. I think Valtteri Bottas has had a decent season. Obviously would have liked him to be even better. He got 4 wins, but when Lewis Hamilton's so good, it's difficult. Really, in terms of my driver of the year, it has to go to Lewis Hamilton. I mean, totally and utterly dominated, really, especially after Azerbaijan. From Azerbaijan onwards, he was the man. I think, like I said before, I think we all know that I'm not Lewis Hamilton's biggest fan, but in terms of a driver, you have to respect him for what he did. I mean, he won the Bahrain and the China Grand Prix, so in the first 4 races, Bottas had won 2, Hamilton had won 2. So at this point, I'm thinking, fantastic, we've got a good season on our hands. But then we go through the rest of it: Spain, Hamilton; Monaco, Hamilton; Canada, Hamilton; France, Hamilton. So already, he's got 4 wins in a row, and he's thinking, oh, okay, here we go again, sort of thing. We obviously did get Verstappen winning in Austria, which was a fantastic race. Hamilton won the British Grand Prix. The German Grand Prix was Verstappen. Hungary, Hamilton. That was a good fight between him and Verstappen at the sort of the last end of the race. Leclerc won his first race in Belgium. He then won at the Italian Grand Prix, which was fantastic for a Ferrari driver to win. It took Vettel until Singapore to win his first race of the season, which sort of summed up his 2019 season. Hamilton then won in Russia, Bottas in Japan, Mexico was Hamilton, the US was Bottas, Brazil was Verstappen, and Abu Dhabi was Lewis Hamilton. So, going through them there, you can see how many Hamiltons won. So, yeah, I just think he was fantastic in the 2019 season. Thoroughly deserved the championship once again. I'm hoping for a bigger fight next season between other drivers and Lewis Hamilton. But if he continues doing it like he did in the 2019 season, then the award for Driver of the Year will probably be the same as it is now. So yeah, my Driver of the Year is Lewis Hamilton. Now we move on to Team of the Year, and I mean, to be fair, this one is quite an easy award to give out as well. Team of the Year goes to Mercedes. Being absolutely dominant. I mean, when I went into the season, we went into like the testing in February. Ferrari looked stronger. They looked better, and I was thinking, we've really got a race on our hands here. The season's going to go well if Mercedes and Ferrari are going to fight like this. We obviously saw them dominating really in Bahrain. It was only that Leclerc had his issue that he had to retire and obviously forced Mercedes to, or not forced Mercedes, but Mercedes won the race because of it. I thought we still have Ferrari can still push this. In the end, it wasn't enough. Mercedes in the second half of the season as well sort of just dominated. I mean, I went for them 4 races. I mean, well, to be fair, if we look at it all, I mean, Australia Mercedes, Bahrain Mercedes, China Mercedes, Azerbaijan Mercedes, Spain, Monaco, Canada, France, all Hamilton, so all Mercedes. It wasn't until Austria where a Mercedes was only 3rd on the podium. So, I mean, I think as much as Ferrari were looking good at the start of the season, it was all Mercedes again. So, I mean, you have to give it to him. I mean, in terms of the points, 739 was Mercedes, obviously winning the constructors. Ferrari were on 504. Red Bull, Honda were closer to Ferrari. Than Ferrari were to Mercedes. So, it just shows once again how dominant Mercedes have been in this sort of turbo hybrid era. So, again, sort of easy award for me. Team of the Year goes to Mercedes-Benz. Now, this award was actually quite difficult, and it's Overtake of the Year. Now, I watched the video that was done by the F1 YouTube channel, for the F1 YouTube channel, about the top 10 overtakes of the year, and I had a look through, and I've got two, and I can't choose which one. So if this is one of your two, please put in the comments which one you think, but I can't pick between the two. The first one is, well, they're both in Brazil actually. The first one is Carlos Sainz on Sergio Perez. Both of them are on the same corner as well, the first corner. And it's Perez sort of takes the far line and doesn't think that Carlos Sainz is going to go down there, and he goes down, takes the inside line and just manages to squeeze through. Absolutely fantastic overtake by Carlos Sainz. And I don't think Sergio Perez, I thought, Perez thought, I made my move, he's not really going to go there. And in fact, Carlos Sainz did and got the move. Fantastic move by Sainz. The other one is Max Verstappen on Lewis Hamilton from the safety car restart. Where he went round the outside in turn one to get back on to the inside for the next corner in that sort of centre S. Absolutely fantastic. I think Lewis Hamilton was like, well, I'll not push him as much as I probably would have done if I hadn't won the championship by now. It was a great overtake by Max Verstappen. So they're the two for me. I'm not sure which one. I think if I had to choose one, I think it would be Carlos Sainz, but I'm not sure, so I'm going to leave them as both, because I can't choose between the two of them. So, Overtake of the Year is a draw between Carlos Sainz and Max Verstappen. Like I said, if you have a point, please put it down. Let me know what your overtake was. It might not have been either of them. It might have been something else. Please let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, that's my Overtake of the Year. Now, Race of the Year. Now, this one was another interesting one because everyone has their own opinion on what they feel was the best race of 2019. I had a lot of people say Brazil was their favourite, and I have to say it's a really close second for me. It's not my favourite, but a lot happened in that race. Obviously, the two Ferraris collided. Hamilton hit Albon on the last few laps. Safety cars galore. A lot happened in that race, but for me, I put Austria in third as well because I thought that was a very entertaining race throughout, and obviously we got the last lap changeover between Verstappen and Leclerc. All the Dutch fans screaming in the stand, that was amazing. The one that I've picked for Race of the Year is the German Grand Prix. Now, I'm not sure what I can say about the German Grand Prix because it had everything for me, and it's a real shame that we don't see the German Grand Prix on the grid as much. I don't even know if it's on the grid this year. I'm not sure. I don't think it is. So it's an absolute travesty because I always think it brings a great race when it comes onto the calendar and when it comes round. It's always a fantastic race, it had everything and more. It had the changing weather conditions. People were kept coming into the pits, changing tyres, dries, wets, intermediate, literally everything. They just kept swapping and changing. We had the two Hasses collide as they normally do. Sergio Perez went out. We had the two Mercedes crash out for the first time since Austria the year before. With their sort of like was it celebration livery they had on, and neither car finished. They were all wearing their like was it lederhosens? I can't remember what they were wearing. They were wearing like different outfits. I can't remember. I don't think it was lederhosens because that's Austria. It was. It was amazing. We had Nico Hulkenberg crash out. So close to a podium was Nico Hulkenberg, and obviously the fact that he's not there for this season coming in 2020, that's a sort of a regret that he managed to crash out. I was very disappointed, really disappointed that Hulkenberg didn't get onto that podium. That would have been amazing. And obviously the podium that we did have, Danny Kvyat was on the podium. For Toro Rosso, it was just it was an incredible race. It really was. Vettel, Kvyat, and obviously Verstappen winning the race. It was I don't know. I can't really describe it. So much sort of happened in that race. So for me, that was the best race of the year. I can see why people put Brazil, and I would understand that people put Brazil as their number one. But for me, race of the year is the German Grand Prix. Now, next reward is young driver, the best young driver on the grid. Now, you can go with a few people. I know Alex Albon's impressed this season. I think he's done really well. I can see if people went for George Russell, because I think he did obviously out-qualified his teammate Robert Kubica galore. I know Kubica actually got the only point for Williams this in 2019. But the young driver I'm going to go for is Lando Norris. I think he absolutely impressed. He was very mature. He's obviously fun off the grid and likes to have a bit of a laugh and a joke. Things he's gone on and happened with Daniel Ricciardo this season have been amazing. But yeah, in terms of his actual driving, I think he's really impressed. He's been mature. He's been good throughout. I think even Norris admitted that he'd been a bit disappointed. He thinks he could have done a lot better. But I think for a first season, I think he's been really good. He's really impressed me, and obviously being a McLaren fan, I'm glad that we have Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris, two great drivers in that team that have really impressed me. The battle between the two of them in terms of qualifying as well. Lando Norris beat Carlos Sainz 11-10. Going into Abu Dhabi, it was neck and neck. So, it just shows how strong their lineup is. Andreas Seidel, the McLaren boss, says they've got a great lineup for next season, and obviously they had it for 2019, and they do. He's really impressed me as Lando Norris, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him for his second year. We've obviously got not this year, coming the year after, McLaren with a Mercedes engine. Will that help them push up the grid and seeing McLaren fight at the top? We obviously got a podium for McLaren this year as well. That was at Brazil. Carlos Sainz winning it, standing on the podium with all the team. That was incredible. In terms of McLaren, that's good. They also are my improvement of the year. And obviously, like I said, they got a podium in Brazil. And finished top 6 in 8 Grand Prix this season. That was Carlos Sainz. I think McLaren have seriously improved. I saw the car when it came out in February, and I was like, this car looks good, and also there was just something about the start of the season that I was seeing other teams unveil their cars, and I was like, oh, okay, some of them look serious, and some are having a bit of a laugh and joke. But obviously McLaren do it. Their technology centre looks so serious, but they had two great drivers in Sainz and Norris who were having a bit of a laugh and joke, but they were really enjoying the situation that they were in. And I instantly thought McLaren are going to be good this year. Doesn't matter they've got a Renault engine. Doesn't matter if Renault are lower down in terms of engine power than Mercedes. I think they're going to have a good year. And luckily for me, that's what happened. Like I said, they had a podium in Brazil. It took them to the second to last race of the season, but finally they had a podium. Such a shame that they couldn't actually celebrate when everybody was there. They had to wait until all the investigations had gone through, which was a bit stupid. But I think it was nice actually that they had the whole team up there, which they wouldn't have been able to do. So that was good that they had all the team celebrating. They had a podium, which was good. So in terms of young driver, that went to Lando Norris, and improvement of the year goes to McLaren. Now, the next one is best team radio, and to be fair, there have been quite a few, but again, F1 did a video of the best radio messages, so if you want to check them all out, that will be the best place to do it. There was some great radio messages. Kimi Räikkönen is normally in a lot of them. Actually, the McLaren boys were in a lot of them. Lando Norris was in a few of them. Daniel Ricciardo obviously does as many good ones as he possibly can. But for me, the best team radio was Pierre Gasly in Brazil. Half of it is inaudible. You can't hear a word Pierre Gasly is saying because all he's doing is screaming down the end of the microphone. Absolutely incredible. So happy. He had a really tough year starting Red Bull. Halfway through the season gets dropped for Alex Albon. But how he did in Toro Rosso for the second half of the season has been amazing. He did really well, performed really well, not as much pressure. Brazil, I thought it was great that that Honda power unit in that Toro Rosso was able to stay ahead of the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton going up that final straight towards the line in Brazil, and for Gasly to cross the line in second place was amazing. I mean, obviously they had Max Verstappen and Gasly, two Hondas, 1-2. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And Pierre Gasly's radio message of him just screaming, and you can hear the emotion in his voice as he crosses the line and goes round the circuit on the sort of the final lap before they go back into Parc Fermé. Absolutely incredible, and it was really nice to see Pierre Gasly and showing his emotion as well. Being very controlled throughout the season. Obviously, being at Red Bull, he didn't want to say things he shouldn't, so he was very conservative and stuff like that. But yeah, to see him in the second to last race in Brazil, showing all his emotions of the whole season that have gone on. And yeah, it was a real joy and a real pleasure to watch and hear Pierre Gasly in that. So for me, best team radio has to go to Pierre Gasly in Brazil. Now, livery of the season. Now, this is interesting because I have done at the start of the season. Myself and Jamie Davis did a video about the top 10 and obviously what we thought in order were the best looking cars on the grid. If you'd like me to react to that, I will do a reaction video to that. That would be fun to do. But in terms of my livery of the season, I have to give it to McLaren. I thought it was a great car, great looking car. I love the brightness of the orange. I always like the standout colours. I think obviously you have. I was going to say Force India, Racing Point with the pink. Williams' car was pretty good looking as well. In terms of looking at a bit like toothpaste, as Jamie put it in the video. And yeah, I liked a few cars. The one car that I'm really annoyed that we didn't get to see was the Red Bull test livery, which they did when they announced the car way back in February last year. That car looked amazing, but it was only for the test, and they came back and it looked exactly the same as what it does for most years. That was gutting, because if that had been the car for the 2019 season, easily would have won. Easily was the best looking car I'd seen in a long time. But yeah, in terms of livery of the season, had to go to McLaren. I thought the car was great, and obviously it improved throughout the year as well, and like I've already said, had a podium in it. So yeah, in terms of livery of the season, that went to McLaren. Now, this is the final award, and not the award that any of the teams are going to want, really, and that's worst team award. Now, to be fair, it's very easy to make this decision, and the decision is Williams. I mean, can I really say anything other than Williams? I mean, it's such a disappointment. I mean, I know Haas were pretty poor this season. Their car was awful. But something that was worse than awful was the Williams car. I mean, it didn't even turn up for the first 2 days of practice, winter testing in Barcelona. And it all just seemed to go wrong from there. I mean, Robert Kubica's comeback year in terms of the sport, and George Russell coming in as a new driver, young driver. The last thing either of them wanted was a car that was as bad as they got. And yeah, it never really improved. I mean, some of the cars, like I said, get improved over the year. Williams just sort of, plateaued from the beginning to end, and it was really hard to watch them. And growing up and watching Williams in the sport, and obviously watching documentaries of Frank Williams back in the day, and really loving the passion that him and his family gave, and obviously Patrick Head, everybody in that team gave everything, and to see them where they are for the 2019 season really hurt. I mean, they've been at the bottom for the last couple, but this year was really bad, and I think it says a lot when they have the Mercedes engine in, which obviously wins the constructors, and they've only managed to get 1 point, and that was the mess that was the German Grand Prix as well. So it wasn't like they really got it, I don't want to say on merit, because there was such carnage in the German Grand Prix that anybody could have got a point in that race. So yeah, really disappointing. I'm hoping that there's improvement. We've obviously got Nicholas Latifi coming in with George Russell, got a very young driver lineup for Williams next season. I hope that both of them have a car that's better than obviously this season just gone, and can give them something to at least fight for a few points would be something. But yeah, worst team award goes to Williams. And that's it. That is my awards for the 2019 season. I said there wasn't many, but it has managed to go to 20 minutes, so I suppose that is something. Yeah, if you have any others that you felt should have got an award, or like I said, the overtakes, if you've got one, what was your race of the year, obviously your driver of the year, team of the year, let me know in the comments. I'd love to read them and see what you thought of the 2019 season. And I'm hoping for even better in 2020. So like I said, I'm going to have a few videos coming out before the season starts. I'm going to be doing predictions, previews and stuff like that. So yeah, keep an eye out on this channel, and I will be doing a few videos and obviously getting ready for the 2020 F1 season in March. Can't wait. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.